It had a head too big for its body, like it was born to be wrong. And it watched me, not like a wild animal, like it knew who I was. I grew up hearing stories about the Melon Heads, little deformed people who lived in the woods outside Kirtland, Ohio, heads swollen with fluid, eyes too big, skin pale and wrong. Kids at school would dare each other to walk into the woods off Wisner Road at night. Most never did. The ones who did always came back laughing, drunk, or swearing they saw red eyes blinking in the trees. It was local folklore, something we all joked about but secretly believed in, even if we didn't say so out loud. I left Ohio when I was 20 and didn't think about it again for almost a decade, until this fall. When my dad died, I came home for the funeral. Small town, same old people, same cold skies. I wasn't planning to stay long. Just a week to help Mom sort through the house, but on the fourth night I drove out to clear my head, just like I used to, and I took a road I hadn't driven in years. Wisner. It was nearly 10 p.m. when I turned off the main highway. The trees were already bare, black skeletons clutching the sky. Fog hovered low over the ditches. I drove past the same old cracked signs, same rusted-out fences, same houses with broken porches and yellow porch lights. And then I saw it. The narrow dirt trail cutting into the woods just before the bend. The old Melon Head path, we used to call it. Just looking at it gave me chills. I parked the car on the side of the road and got out. I don't know why. Maybe grief makes you stupid. Maybe nostalgia makes you brave. I just remember stepping past the tree line and thinking how quiet it was. Too quiet. No wind, no crickets, no night birds, just stillness. And that thick, earthy smell of wet soil and old decay. I walked deeper. Pulled my jacket tighter. Shoved my hands in my pockets. There were tire tracks in the mud, deep and recent. Not from a car, too narrow. A wagon, a cart. Then I heard something behind me, a stick snapping. I spun around, flashlight raised. Nothing. Just trees, then a new sound, like panting, soft, labored, wet, ahead of me now. I raised my light again, and that's when I saw it, squatting near the base of a tree, pale skin stretched over a child-sized frame, limbs too long for the body. And the head, God, the head. It was huge, twice the size of mine, misshapen, like it was full of water. The skin bulged. Around the temples it had no hair, just stretched skin and deep dark eyes, eyes that didn't reflect light. They swallowed it. It blinked once, then it smiled. I couldn't move, it didn't run, it didn't charge, it just stood slowly, like its bones weren't built for standing, and tilted its head, like it was studying me. Then it pointed, not at me, past me, back the way I came. I turned to look. There was nothing there. When I turned back, it was gone, but its prints were still in the mud, and next to them were smaller ones. I walked backward, flashlight shaking in my hand, until my back hit a tree. My breath came in fast, sharp pulls. The trail was darker now, like the trees had grown thicker in minutes. I wanted to believe it was an animal I'd seen, a trick of the light, my imagination feeding on childhood stories. But those footprints were real, deep, sunken, fresh, and they weren't alone. Next to the large, misshapen prints were three smaller ones. Different spacing, different depth. I crouched low and aimed the flashlight. They looked like bare human feet, small child-sized, not distorted like the Melon Heads. Normal. But why would a barefoot child be this deep in the woods? I stood up quickly. Then I heard it again. The panting. Only now it wasn't alone. There were voices, whispering, fast, urgent. I swung the light wildly, trying to locate them, but the sounds didn't come from one direction. They came from everywhere, around me, overlapping, like echoes inside a well. And then I heard something worse, giggling, high-pitched, playful, wrong. I ran, not down the trail, off it, through thick brush, branches clawing at my arms and face. I didn't care, I needed distance, I needed out. I don't know how long I ran, the woods blurred. I tripped once, twice, hit the ground, crawled, kept going. Then suddenly, the forest opened, and I found myself standing in a clearing. I didn't recognize a large open space surrounded by trees and a house in the middle. Old, rotten, sagging to one side. It leaned like it had been half swallowed by the earth and didn't fight it. Two broken windows stared back at me like dead eyes. Ivy crawled up the walls like veins, and nailed above the sagging front door, almost falling off its hinges, was a crooked wooden sign that read, "Dr. Kellner's Children's Refuge." I froze. That name. Kellner. I knew that name. My dad used to mention it when I was a kid, a local story and urban legend stuff. He said there'd been a doctor who ran a private hospital in the woods back in the 40s for sick children. No one ever said what kind of sick. He treated them in secret. The rumor was the state shut it down, but not before something bad happened. Some said the kids escaped. Some said he let them out on purpose. Some said they never left at all. I stepped closer to the house. The wooden boards creaked under my boots. I tried the door. It opened. The smell hit me first, like wet wood, mold and something rotting under the floor. The inside looked abandoned for decades. Peeling paint, collapsed ceiling in the corner, old toys scattered across a dust-covered rug, plastic cars, headless dolls, wooden blocks, and along one of the walls, drawings, dozens of them, children's scribbles, crayon and marker, stick figures with massive round heads and tiny broken limbs. Every picture had the same two things, red eyes and a long hallway. That's when I saw the door, half hidden behind, a broken dresser near the kitchen. It was low and too small for an adult to walk through, more like a crawl space, but it had claw marks around the edges, and something else too, words carved deep into the frame. "We're still hungry." Suddenly the door creaked open, dark inside. A breeze I couldn't explain swept through the house, and I heard it again, that wet panting, only now as it was behind me. I turned slowly, and there, standing in the doorway I'd entered, was another one, not the same as before. This one was taller, thinner. Its eyes didn't glow. They pulsed, slow and red like a heartbeat, and it had something in its hand, a plastic toy car, all familiar. It was mine. I couldn't speak. The creature, if I can even call it that, stood just inside the broken doorway, holding my old toy car like it had been waiting years to return it. Its oversized head throbbed slightly under the skin, as if something inside pulsed with every heartbeat. Its arms were longer than a child's should be, dragging slightly against the floorboards as it stepped closer. It didn't growl. It didn't hiss. It just looked at me with something almost like sadness or familiarity, like it knew me. My chest tightened. I hadn't seen that toy in over 20 years. I'd lost it when I was 5 during a camping trip near Kirtland. It had vanished into the brush and I cried for hours. My dad swore we'd find it, but we never did. I had forgotten about it, buried the memory in the rubble of childhood. Until now. Until this thing placed it gently on the floor between us and slowly pushed it toward me. I didn't pick it up. I couldn't. Because right behind the creature I noticed movement in the trees, eyes, dozens of them, watching, some close to the ground. Others peering from the broken upstairs window, tiny faces, some barely visible, some smiling. This wasn't just a hideout, it was a nest. I backed away, heart hammering. My flashlight flickered, the battery dying. When the beam returned, the creature was gone. Just gone. But the toy car still sat on the floor. I ran, through the hall, past the rotten kitchen, until I came to a door at the back of the house, tall, rusted and locked with a chain that looked newer than the rest of the house. Metal sign above the door had been scratched out, but I could still make out a few letters beneath the rust. BENROM, basement room, no behavement room. That word wasn't real, but it told me enough. I turned away from it and saw a small bookcase tipped over in the corner. Behind, it half concealed in shadow, was a narrow stairwell going down, deeper. I paused. The air here wasn't just cold, it hummed, a low pulsing vibration. Familiar now, the kind that crept inside your head and whispered things you'd forgotten. I should have left. I should have run. but something pulled me forward, like the house itself wanted me to see something. I descended, the stairs slowly, each step creaking under my weight. The smell of mold gave way to something sharper, like burnt metal or old blood. The flashlight flickered again, but I kept going. At the bottom was a small cement room, no wider than 10 feet. Metal gurney in the center, leather straps, broken restraints, scribbled notes all over the walls, faded but readable in pieces, fluid extraction unsuccessful, aggression increasing, head growth exceeds cognitive control. No parents allowed after week 4, and then, on the far wall, written in red, not marker, not paint, "We remember everything." I turned. There were 3 of them behind me now, small, pale, watching. Their heads moved slowly, tilting together in sync like marionettes tied to the same string. They didn't lunge, they didn't attack. One of them stepped forward, pointed at the wall behind me and whispered, "You were here." I shook my head. "No," I said, "I wasn't. I never came here." But then I remembered something. A scream, a nurse, a metal table, and a face. Behind glass, and that looked just like mine, my legs buckled. I fell to the ground, hands scraping cold concrete. One of them stepped even closer now, dragging something in its hand. A photograph. Old, burnt around the edges. It showed 4 children, in hospital gowns, standing in a hallway. 3 had blurred faces. The 4th man was me. The photo trembled in my hand. The air in the basement had thickened like syrup, hard to breathe, harder to think. But I couldn't stop staring at that image. That was me, 5 years old. Same hair, same gap-toothed smile, hospital gown down, to my knees. But I had no memory of this place. No memory of the photo being taken, no memory of those 3 other children, faces blurred and bloated like someone had tried to erase them, or like they'd been warped by something that didn't. Want them seen, and the hallway behind us in the picture. It was the very one I had just walked through. Peeling paint, cracked tiles, light fixtures hanging like broken necks. I had been here. I had forgotten. "You were one of us," one of them whispered, its voice thin and dry, like someone breathing. "Through gauze." "No," I said, but my own voice cracked. "Yes," another whispered. "They let you leave." The 3rd one nodded slowly. "You forgot us, but we didn't forget you." I turned the photo over. On the back, written in red marker, childish and uneven, was a name. Danny, Class 3A. My name is Daniel. No one had called me Danny since kindergarten. Below the name, in faded pencil, were the words, "Subject showed resistance to procedure. Released under sedation. Memory partially suppressed." The room began to spin. I dropped the photo. "I was adopted," I muttered. "Mom told me, and they got me late. I was 6. But I never asked why. I never asked what came before." The melon head closest to me, the one with the longest arms, stepped forward and knelt down until we were eye level. I saw his face up close. His skull pushed the skin out like a balloon, filled with too much water. His mouth never fully closed. His lips were too thin, stretched back in something almost like a permanent smile. But his eyes, they were mine. Same hazel color, same tiny gold flecks in the right iris. He raised a bony finger and touched the side of my head, just above my right temple, and whispered, "They took it from here." A sudden slicing pain ripped through my skull. I screamed and fell back. My vision blurred, my ears rang, and for a few seconds I saw everything. Bright white lights, surgical masks, metal needles the size of pencils, other kids screaming, a doctor with a voice like syrup saying, "This one's stable, drain, then reset." Saw the door of the facility being opened. A man in a brown suit waiting outside. My new father, my mother, smiling nervously. A manila envelope exchanged between hands. And then, nothing. I blinked hard. My vision cleared. The 3 of them still stood around me watching, heads tilted. "You were supposed to stay," the first said. "But you were whole," said the second. "They needed one to forget." "Now you remember," said the third. "Now you have to choose." "Choose?" I asked, my voice thin. They stepped back and pointed toward the stairs. Above us I could hear movement. Heavy footsteps. A voice, low and angry, echoing from the floor above. "He found the basement. Bring him back." "They'll take your memory again," one whispered. "They'll carve it out." I looked toward the stairwell. Shadows. moved. Flashlights flickered against the concrete. Whoever was coming, they weren't here to save me. And then I understood the choice. Stay with the forgotten, with the ones like me, or go back up and lose it all again. I crouched in that damp basement, heart pounding like war drums in my chest. The Melon Heads didn't move, they just watched, waiting for me to decide, to choose who I really was. Above us, the boots thudded closer. 2 voices now, maybe more. I couldn't make out their words, but I could feel their urgency. Whoever they weren't strangers to this place. Their steps didn't hesitate. They knew the layout, the history. They knew about me. One of the Melon Heads reached out, brushing his thin fingers over my arm. His skin felt like cold, rubber stretched too tight. His touch was gentle but firm. "If you go up," he said, "you forget again, they'll cut to pieces, make you blank." I whispered. Why did they let me leave in the first place? The creature tilted his oversized head. His pulsing eyes blinked slowly. "You didn't scream," he said. "You obeyed. You didn't break like us." I swallowed hard. "Then why? Remember me now." He leaned close. "Because we need someone with a name." I stood, backed against the far wall as the footsteps reached the top of the basement stairs. Then a voice rang out. Male, calm, clinical. "Daniel?" Head echoed like it was spoken from a cave. "Daniel Kellner, you've been found. You're safe now." I froze. That name, Kellner. The doctor's name. But also mine. I didn't move. I couldn't. "You've wandered into a restricted area," the voice continued. "We're here to help you. Please come upstairs." Help? No. This wasn't help. This was containment, a cleanup crew. The Melon Heads stepped back, blending into the shadows like they'd done it all their lives. Their misshapen faces showed no panic. They weren't afraid of the men above, they were waiting. One of them, the one who gave me the toy card, spoke again. "If they take you, we'll fade. One more memory gone." I looked toward the stairwell. Flashlight beams sliced down into the basement. Then the voice again, louder. "You're confused, son. You were hurt. You've had a relapse. Let us bring you back. Start over." My hand gripped the edge of the photo in my pocket, the one with me and the 3 children. They hadn't imagined me. They hadn't made it up. They had remembered me, while I had been scrubbed clean, sanitized, repackaged, set loose into the world like I was never part of this place. I had forgotten them, but they had never forgotten me. The stairwell creaked. A man appeared, tall, neatly dressed, no badge, no weapon. Just a perfect white smile and calm eyes that didn't blink enough. "I'm by." "Dr. Hawthorne," he said, "let's get you home." Behind him another man appeared, bulkier, holding something behind his back, a case or maybe a restraint kit. I stepped forward slowly. One of the Melon Heads tried to stop me. His long fingers tugged lightly at my sleeve. I looked into his pulsing red eyes and whispered, "I'm not leaving them again." Then I turned back to the doctor, smiled and ran, not up down, toward the crawl space behind the gurney, toward the tunnel barely large enough for a child, toward the dark that welcomed me instead of trying to erase me. A scream rang out behind me, not mine, then footsteps, fast, angry. I crawled through the tunnel, scraping my arms, choking on dust, until I dropped into another space, larger, circular, lit only by bioluminescent moss clinging to the walls, and they were all there, all of them. Dozens of Melon Heads, sitting, sleeping, eating, existing. And when they saw me, they rose. Not in fear, not in hunger, in recognition. The one with the gold-flecked. I stepped forward and pointed to the wall. There, carved into the stone, were dozens of names, faded, almost gone, but one near the top had just been added, freshly scratched. Danny K. They didn't cheer, they didn't speak, they just stood in silence, the kind that means something is beginning again. Above us, I heard gunfire, screaming, then silence, then nothing. We didn't speak for a long time. I sat in that hollow underground space surrounded by things I couldn't call monsters anymore. I watched them eat, move, breathe, some asleep curled together like children in a nursery. Others stood along the wall, whispering in words I didn't understand. Their sounds weren't language in the normal sense. They were memories, patterns. Shared moments passed between them like broken lullabies. No one asked why I had returned. They knew. They had waited. The one with gold-flecked eyes. The one who looked almost like me brought me an old coat. Thin, worn. I slipped it on. Then he handed me something else. A book, leather-bound, warped from water and time. Inside were pages filled with shaky handwriting, diagrams, names, measurements. Some pages listed subjects, others documented removal protocols. Page after page of surgical logs, and tucked between the last two pages, folded neatly, was a birth certificate. My name. Daniel Kellner, born in 1986, facility, Kellner Developmental Research Home, Unit 3A. My parents never told me where I was born. They said I came from the system, that it didn't matter, that I was theirs now. But this changed everything. I hadn't been adopted. I had been extracted, chosen, released, to hide what had happened here, to erase what they had become. The gold-eyed one, I started calling him Echo because that's what he felt like, led me deeper through the tunnels. The air changed down there, warmer, thicker. The walls glowed faint blue. Bones littered the corners. Some animal, some human. They didn't kill to feed. They killed to stay hidden, to protect what little they had. At the deepest chamber, I saw the thing they had kept secret the longest. The wall, not carved, not painted, built, with names, hundreds of names, etched on scraps of wood, metal, plastic, anything they could find, arranged in a spiraling pattern across the wall, names of those who had escaped, those who had died, those who had come back, and mine was there now too, not carved like the others, burned, like it had always been waiting for heat to reveal it. Why me? I asked Echo. He blinked slowly. You remember? That's not enough. It is, he whispered, because no one else does. I stayed underground for 2 days, maybe more. I slept beside them, ate what they gave me, tasteless white paste they stored in jars. My dreams were clearer down there, less noise, less guilt, more faces. Faces I used to know. Eventually I surfaced, alone. They didn't follow. They never do. They don't hunt like stories say. They wait. I walked the long trail back to my car. It was still there, untouched. No sign of the men who chased me. No boot prints, no broken branches. I started the engine and drove. That was 6 months ago. Since then, I've started remembering more. Flashes, screams, tests, faces in white coats. Had a little boy, me, crying in a glass room as shadows passed behind a mirror. But I'm not afraid anymore because now I know the truth. They weren't monsters. They were children made monstrous, and I was almost one of them. I'm writing this now because I know they're still out there. I know they're still waiting, and I know one day soon they'll be found again. But next time, they won't forget, and neither will I.